Hey, what's up, world? And welcome to another Russell Ones. And this one is not going to be too different from the last video I put up. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. It's really more of a rant with the whole Cody Rhodes being screwed by The Rock, not in that way, and taking his spot at WrestleMania against Roman Reigns. And so I've had time to really calm down on it, but still pissed off. I'm not about to be where like, oh yeah, well, I'm totally for it now. Like, nah. At this point, like I said in the video prior, is that we get a glimpse of how selfish The Rock is. Now, and I even also said up in there, like, I've learned recently that it doesn't take too much for a person to realize what a person is all about. A lot of times it takes one crack. It takes one little chip that leads to more, to where you understand that this is who that person is. And by The Rock doing this, what he did at Warner Brothers and what he's doing now with the position with Cody Rhodes and stuff, it shows that he is a selfish individual. It shows that he is a person who is all about himself, and that's all that he's really going to be about. Because a person who is not selfish would have looked at it and be like, look, hey, I want this match between me and Roman, but they're telling a story. They have something going on to where it makes more sense to carry that out and me having a match later on. Because no matter where they have the match, whether it's for the title or not, it's going to be big. I'm not denying that Roman versus Rock isn't a money maker, because it is. But you can have that anywhere. You can have that at WrestleMania Backlash or just Backlash, and it will make a lot of money. You can have that at one of the Saudi shows, which I'm pretty sure that the Saudis will love that, since they love their older generation wrestlers, that they would probably love that. You can have it at SummerSlam. The next, well, besides Money in the Bank, the other biggest event in WWE, in the WWE calendar. And it makes no sense to have it right now. And the thing is, what makes it even more selfish for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is the fact that I'm seeing reports and headlines now that The Rock, not only was he pushing for this match with him and Roman at WrestleMania, taking a spot away from a well-deserved person like Cody Rhodes, but to win the match. And what I said before in the last videos was that just simply, where can they go with that? There's no long-term storytelling in regards to Rock and Roman winning, or Rock and Roman facing each other, because there's going to be one or two things that happen. That The Rock wins and we get a part-timer still, or Roman wins and we keep our part-timer but for even longer. Like, where is the excitement for a winner? If the title wasn't on the line and this is at somewhere else, it would make it a little bit more exciting. And it just shows that the fans are rallying against this. You got hashtags, we want Cody, hashtag poor Cody, and shit like that. Or, you know, and I'm pretty sure there's more hashtags to come. But it's gotten to the point where WWE has backed themselves in the corner again. It's very reminiscent of Daniel Bryan. Years back when they didn't have Daniel Bryan a part of the Royal Rumble, when Daniel Bryan wasn't going to be part of WrestleMania and everything else, and the crowd and the audience, the fans, just kind of like rebelled against them. And the reason why I feel like it's that way, because that's seeming like that's what's about to happen. You already got fans that's going against it, and it ultimately could result in like The Rock getting booed every single time he comes out. No matter how much people might react when they hear that "with your smile" and all that stuff, you're more than likely going to get a lukewarm or sour response to The Rock, him coming in. And you're going to hear the vocalization in the crowd. Now, will it be enough for them to change their minds? Would the backlash be enough for them to change their minds? I hope that it is. But I honestly don't feel like it will be. But I hope that it is. I really do. And them realizing the mistake that they did. Because that's all it takes is for them to realize the mistake that they just did. And the thing is like, it makes Cody, it brings down his character. And this is why I say that The Rock isn't really for building up the new generation, because when you're looking at the whole thing, Cody, for the longest, like 2 years, and talking about the story, or about a year or so or whatever, because I think he started talking about it after he won the Royal Rumble. But he was talking about this story and talking about how his father wanted to win the WWE Championship and he never got the chance to, so he's winning it for his father. He's telling that story, and that's all we've been hearing about. And now the story has evolved from that. Now it's evolved from, you wronged me, you took away my spot, I didn't bitch and complain about it, I went to the back and I've worked my way back up into this spot. Now it's not even just for my father, it's not for my family, it's not for all these people, it's for me. I need to do this. So the story has evolved, but still keeping the roots of it. And with Cody talking about all this stuff, all the story and all this stuff leading up to now, it made no sense for him to choose that decision. Even if you want to put that in the storyline where he was the one who made the decision. He was the one who decided to take the back seat to The Rock. It makes no sense. And I even pointed it out, and everyone saw it. When you look at Cody's face, he looks defeated. He tried his hardest to put a genuine smile on his face, but there is no authenticity in his smile when he was in that ring looking at The Rock, knowing that this guy who was away for so long, hasn't had a match in so long, is about to take his spot, even though he's earned it by winning the Royal Rumble and working his ass off. It's a sad sight to see. It is truly a sad sight to see. And The Rock it seemed like he is so consumed with himself, is that he doesn't read the room. He hasn't read the room. He doesn't see that how this is diminishing Cody Rhodes as a character. They kept him strong, and the fans have been like behind him all the way up until this point. And now with them not being able to see the story be concluded at WrestleMania, it's going to make, for one, The Rock look really bad, but also make Cody Rhodes look sympathetic, but it's also going to like warm people up on Cody. It's gonna turn them like, this story ain't gonna happen, so why am I getting invested? Same thing that happened with the DCEU that he was a part of. People wasn't going to go see the movies, and the reason why they bombed or just didn't do well was because it was leading up to nothing. So how do you think that people are going to be with Cody Rhodes if they see that his path is not to Roman and he's not going to win? How do you think people are going to feel about Cody? Like I said, selfish. It's extremely selfish. And yeah, this is very disappointing that TKO and just the rest of WWE, from what I hear, is they're disappointed. But they let all this happen. And I get it. Rock is in a position that he can have power over a lot of stuff, influence over a lot of stuff. And I even talked about that in the video where I talked about him being on the board. And one of the things that, like I said, it may end up affecting the WrestleMania main event. And it did. And one of the things that came out was that the reason why The Rock did it was simply to save WrestleMania. After the Vince stuff and after CM Punk, like, he wanted to save it. And it begs the question, Who is he saving it for? I don't think it could be for Bailey and Io Sky. That's a solid match. That's a story that's been leading up to for like months now. He can't be saving it for a possible Becky Rhea, because I believe that's the match that's going to happen. That's a solid match. I don't think that anybody is going to be mad at that happening. Gunther more than likely is going to be defending his IC title, maybe against Chad or returning Sheamus or whoever he's in the match with. I don't think that anybody is going to bat an eye at it. So I don't think that it's going to be Gunther, Jimmy versus Jay. Pretty sure that that's happening. I don't think that anybody got a problem with that. I don't know if he's saving WrestleMania from that. Rollins, even though Punk is not part of, you know, his main event, I'm pretty sure that you can put Rollins against Sammy and or McIntyre, which would be good matches, whether it's a one-on-one between either person or both, a triple threat. I don't think people would be batting an eye if that was the case. So I don't think he's saving it from that. Cody versus Roman. Literally a storyline that has been building up for like 2 years now. I don't think that The Rock is saving it from that. I think what it is that The Rock is saving WrestleMania for himself. He's not saving it from anything. He's saving it for himself. Because I don't understand how you would think that having The Rock versus Roman at this point in time would, be great for business. Would be best for business. Like I said, it is a moneymaker, but how much money can you make if people are against it? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's going to make money, but if you're from now on going to be looked at and hated, I doubt if The Rock is wanting to be like that. It will make more sense if Cody won against Roman and The Rock came afterwards, maybe the night after, and challenged Roman for the head of the table title. And they schedule it for maybe not the next pay-per-view event, but maybe a Saudi event, and go from there. Because you have one thing that people want to see. Cody finish his story, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are tired of hearing about his story, and Roman getting dethroned, which I know a lot of people by now, including myself, is tired of seeing Roman as the champion. So you get that out the way, and then after that, after the bloodline is disbanded, and after Roman loses his title, and he is still claiming that he's head of the table, then you can have the Rock music play, and then that puts salt on the wound. To me, that's the most logical thing to do. Fuck anybody else that says, oh, this is the most logical thing to do is have The Rock there. No. The WrestleMania event was solid. Why in the fuck do we need The Rock? Then on top of that, I could see the only other way that The Rock, it would make sense for The Rock to be in the position that he's in and be accepted, is if Cody was to get injured. God forbid. Let's hope Cody don't get injured. But let's say Cody was to get injured and he wasn't going to be able to make WrestleMania 40. Then I could see The Rock stepping in and doing that. It still would have the same outcome, because it's if The Rock wins, he's not going to be there full time. Roman wins, he's not going to be there full time. So we're going to be in the same position, but at the same time, it makes sense for The Rock to put himself in there. And like I said before, the roster is thick with top tier talent stars. For the first time in a long while, if somebody get injured, like a CM Punk, you have somebody, 2, 3, 4 other people to replace him in that. If Cody Rhodes is to get injured, besides The Rock, you have 2, 3, 4 other people to place in that slot. So, and we're in a position to where, unlike what it was maybe about 5, 6 years ago, where we had to call in Undertaker, we had to call in Goldberg, we had to call in Kurt Angle, we had to call in The Rock, John Cena, whoever, to put butts in seats. At this point, The Rock isn't needed. It's kind of like relating it to the MCU. How for a long time, when we was still in the phases 1 through 3, in the MCU. And even, honestly, even now, it's like they have built it up to where the X-Men aren't needed in the MCU. Like, they could go on with all the characters that they've been doing because they built them up and made them great characters that people know and love. So there's no reason to put the X-Men in there. It's like if you put the X-Men in there, it's because you want it, but not because it's needed. And that's the same thing with The Rock. The Rock isn't needed to be put in this position. He's not needed to save WrestleMania. He just wants to stroke his ego. He just wants to do it for himself. So the question is, can this be fixed? Can they change the complexion of what WWE now? Because we had bad news last week. We got bad news this week. They're not on a roll. Yeah, we are not talking about Vince McMahon at this moment, but it's not good news on top of that. So how can we fix this? How can we look at this differently than it is now? So I feel like the best way to save it, because from this point on, Roman is going to be the bad guy that we love to hate. Rock is going to be the new bad guy. It simply seemed like he's replacing Vince McMahon. And Cody Rhodes is going to build sympathy for him, but only for so long. Like I said, they're not going to be behind him, especially if there's no end in sight. You're not about to have a person running without a goal to reach. You know, after a while, they're going to stop. Like, there's no point of this. Why am I doing this when I'm not even doing it? And it's logical. So what can they do? I seen this thing because like I said before, I don't really watch AEW. But I seen this thing on X where it was, I don't know the context of it, but CM Punk, I guess he was giving up a spot or something, and he had somebody in his face like, remember who you are and sign this and everything else. And it basically had that pep talk. And I think what they need to do is have Cody Rhodes come out on Monday, tomorrow. And instead of Cody Rhodes talking about like, I'm challenging you, you're going to be the one that I'm facing at WrestleMania, he could come out and literally have a work shoot and be on some, you know, after this and that happened on Thursday, you guys were vocal. I listened to you guys and everything else, and I thought about it. Both, I want to finish my story, but you made a good, you know, argument for why I should face you. And then he can turn his attention to where it's like, what's most important to me is finishing the story. I sat and thought about this all weekend, and that's what needs to happen. So with all due respect, Dwayne, I want my spot. I want to be the one that dethroned Roman Reigns. He wronged me. I deserve it. And say something like that. How Cody says it. And I want to say, then after that, he could call The Rock out. And then The Rock's music hit and everything else. And he could say it to his face. And then The Rock can be like, you really want to fight Roman? You really want this? And he'll be like, yes, I deserve this. I need this. All these fans, they need to see this. And then The Rock be like, well, you know what? You got it. And shake hands with him and then hold him up, embrace him and everything else. Endorse him and everything. And that's how you get people back on that side. And then you can continue on after he wins against Roman. And then you can challenge Roman Reigns. That's it. It's as simple as that. But I have like a horrible feeling that they're going to keep on with the path that they're going. And if they are, I feel like at WrestleMania you're going to hear a loud and audible boos. And I know one of the things that came about is will they do what Daniel Bryan did back when, you know, when all the stuff had happened for him, for WrestleMania and everything else. Will they end up putting Cody in the match with The Rock and Roman and, you know, having to be a three-way? And I'm, at first on the surface, I was kind of for it, because then that still puts Cody Rhodes in the mix. But, and you know, if he wins, albeit, you know, great. But the thing about it is that both matches we deserve as fans, loyal WWE consumers, we deserve to see each of those matches one-on-one. What's the point of having a match with The Rock and Roman in it if there's going to be a third person in there? What's the point of having Cody finish his story if there's a third person in there? Each one of those matches, Cody against Roman, Rock against Roman, should be their own match. There should not be a triple threat. I mean, if that's the only way that they were going to have Cody up in the main event, then I'll take it. Fuck it, I'll take it. If they're not going to go any other way, it's either Rock and Roman or Rock, Cody, and Roman, then I'll take Rock, Cody, and Roman. Put Cody up in there and have him win. There should be no point in there to where he loses, and especially get pinned. But he should not lose that match either way. And that's the only real way they can go about it, is him coming out and kind of like really, I guess, work shooting, speaking his mind. The Rock comes out and asks him, is he sure? My nose is itching. Sorry if I'm scratching my nose. But if he's really sure about that, and then The Rock giving up his spot, because one thing that it's going to do is not going to make The Rock look better. Like, it's not going to make him have people looking at him in the same way that they had before. But what it will do is it will have him looking a little better, because it's showing that, yeah, he's willing to give up his spot so that a person that's more well deserving of it can get their WrestleMania moment and how it's supposed to be. I feel like that should happen, and him endorsing him for that match, and then him coming out at WrestleMania and endorsing him after he wins. And he should have no involvement besides maybe fighting off the bloodline and making sure that the match is fair, but not putting the hands on Roman, not doing anything of that sort. But yeah, like, it's simple. It's simple to fix this. They still have time to do it, but the further we get, or, you know, the closer we get to WrestleMania and everything else, that's when it's going to start to get harder. And it's just like, I feel like at that point, people are going to lose faith. People are not going to care. But one thing that I can say is that you are going to hear the audible boos. You are going to hear. Anytime that The Rock comes out, you're going to hear boos. Anytime he speaks, you're going to hear boos, because it's going to be the fans rebelling against his decision to place himself in the main event against Roman, when we're already invested in seeing Roman against Cody and finishing that story. But those are just my thoughts. That's all I really have to say on it until we find out more stuff. But I feel all around it's a bad idea and everything else. But yeah, thank you guys for making it this far, and if you did, go ahead, give me a like, subscribe if you're not, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this, and I will catch you guys on the next one. So peace out, stay safe, and yeah, man, hashtag we want Cody.